Santa's down and out on frosty ground. Had too many drinks in our hometown. Can fan gathers round to heed the call. AJ, Anthony, Adam, save us all. Snowflakes falling hard, but spirits rise. Carrying Saint Nick to his surprise. Game day Santa, Adam shouts aloud. Santa tips his cap, then passes out. Santa drank too much and now he's sleeping. Will Camden find someone else to fill in? Only one thing they can think of doing. 88, the Cowboys best can do it. On a magic Christmas sleigh, they know who can save the day. Call the pack of 88s. The wind was howling, the snow was blowing some. Can fan took Saint Nick to Arlington. Santa, please, we need the 88s. Saint Nick snapped his fingers and suddenly CD Michael drew and disappeared. We dem boys, they yelled and Can fan cheered. The 88s controlled the sleigh with grace, saving Christmas for the entire human race. Santa drank too much and now he's sleeping. Will Camden find someone else to fill in? Only one thing they can think of doing. 88, the Cowboys best can do it. On a magic Christmas sleigh, they know who can save the day. Call the pack of 88. Cowboys legends, silver and blue. Christmas saviors through and through. Every household giving out gifts. 88s, no one can do it like this. Santa drank too much and now he's sleeping. Will Camden find someone else to fill in? Only one thing they can think of doing. 88, the Cowboys best can do it. On a magic Christmas sleigh, they know who can save the day. Call the pack of 88s.
Cowboys Nation, welcome back to another episode of Sons of the Star. If you guys noticed today, we had a special intro from our good friends over at Cowboys Can Fan. Y'all go over there and check out their brand new Christmas album. It's absolutely electric. Those guys are killing it over there. Check out Cowboys Can Fan. Thank you for that intro tonight. And we are fired up. The Cowboys get a big win as underdogs in Carolina, 30-14. Merry Christmas, Reg. Happy holidays, all that jazz. Happy Festivus coming up soon. How are you doing over there, Cowboy Reg?
Yeah, we know how we do it in this family. We got Festivus first, and then we'll do Christmas Eve, and then we'll do Christmas. So happy holidays, yeah. I'm doing well, man. I'm fired up about that win, and we got a lot to talk about with that, and fired up to break the news that we've been invited onto the Can Fan show this Sunday in their pregame, the world-famous, world-renowned pregame show that's got millions of views for them and made them famous. and we're going to be on there and see what kind of shenanigans we get into. I usually don't
Heading
drink
up to
that early in
Canada.
the morning, but man, whoo, that's going to be a pregame to remember. And we're going to put you on the spot tonight, live in front of everybody. You're going to be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there, and luckily that's a night game, so
There it
you
is.
can pace yourself a little bit.
Oh,
Sunday is a night game, so
oh, we're
yeah,
good, baby.
yeah,
We're
yeah, we're
good. I
good.
mean, but we don't know what those Canadians start. They start up early, right? So what time's the pregame?
Hell
We
yeah,
don't know yet. We'll post it.
we will find out. Hey, folks, we are live on X tonight. I forgot to mention, so if you have questions, make sure to throw them in the chat. We are fired up tonight. The Cowboys get an upset win. That feels weird to say over the Carolina Panthers in a game they truly dominated in 30-14. But first, since we're in the Christmas spirit, Cowboy Reg, I have a question for you before we dive into this game. What is your Dallas Cowboys Christmas list? What do you want if you were to wish for anything in the Dallas Cowboys? What's on your Christmas list?
I wish that Jerry re-signs Rico Dowdle, extend him, re-sign
Okay.
him. Whatever. I mean, if it gets to free agency, I guess he's got to re-sign him. But whatever those rules are, he needs to get that deal done because that guy has a lot of tread left on the tires. He's taken more hits this year than he has in his entire career, and I believe he's 29 years old. But you're talking about the savviness of a veteran that's 29, and he's got the legs as if he just came out of college yesterday, right? I mean, the guy's not beat up. I say re-sign him, extend him, and get that deal done. And let's use the draft in other areas, and then we won't have to worry about the running back. Unless Ashton's available, then that deal's off. All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was on my Christmas list as well, but I'd love to see both. I'd love to see the Cowboys go
Absolutely.
after a draft a running back. If
There it
Ashton
is.
Genty's there, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure he will be with the Cowboys keep winning games. So,
Yeah.
although we love to celebrate Cowboys win, that is hurting their draft pick right now. But that's my Christmas wish list is to rebuild this running back room, starting with re-signing Rico Dowell and drafting a rookie running back to rebuild this room. I've seen enough out of Ezekiel Elliott back in week 2. It's been a good ride, Zeke, but not lately. So the wheels are falling off quickly for poor
I
old
think he
Zeke.
had I think he had one good carry in this game we're going to talk about. I think he actually did have a decent carry. Like I remember him maybe a 6
5
yard
yarder.
carry, 5 yard
Yeah.
carries. Like what that
Wow. Yeah. Wow,
was
wow.
that his only carry? Was he one
Uh,
for 5?
no. He had 9 carries for 30
Oh,
yards, averaging
oh
3
man.
yards a
Now
carry.
we're going to talk about this tonight, but I live in South Carolina and I had the shocking reality come at 1 p.m. The game wasn't on. The game wasn't on. I live in the
Unbelievable.
Carolinas and the game's not on. It's
That's how
insane.
bad the
So
Panthers are.
don't tell me that that is a Carolina team. That's a North Carolina team. You're not even showing the game down here in southern part of South Carolina. So I tuned into CanFan and they do a great play-by-play. So I'm with them for their play-by-play, but I can't see what's going on. So I got my sports app where it kind of just shows the ball moving back and forth. So when you get some stats tonight about, man, I don't remember Zeke carrying the ball that much. That's because I didn't freaking watch the game.
Yeah, it's tough. And I was actually
It's tough,
traveling.
man.
I was able to watch pretty much the full first half at the airport, and then I missed. And well, actually, I watched it on my phone, so I still saw most of the game or listened to it on the radio. I still managed to pretty much catch all of it. But yeah, it was a tough day. I didn't get to sit down and watch this like I would like to. Um, but yeah, that's weird. And you know what I noticed too on the broadcast is they fly the South Carolina flag and the North Carolina flag in
All
this.
right.
They're
Yeah.
trying to claim both Carolinas, but
Yeah.
clearly
I
we
mean,
got
they
boots
might
on the
be.
ground out there
Yeah, they
that
might
it's
be
not
playing
happening.
that game up in Columbia, South Carolina. That game's probably on. But when you get down to the low country down here, they got us watching the Jags and the Falcons and I
Oh,
mean
oh,
Tampa, all those teams are taking priority down here. So Carolina, you got to increase your fan base. You might want to win more than 3 games a year to do that, but you gotta get the fan base spread because that's pretty sad. And I go to the grocery store to get Miller Lite, and it's got a Carolina Panther on the side of it, but I
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
turned my TV on and your game's not on. So what's up with that?
That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. Hey, Jennifer Bullard says Zeke was blocking quite well, and she would love to
Okay.
see them re-sign Rico. I think she's got the Grinch dressed up in a. She's always got the good profile pictures in
All right,
the
hold on.
Grinch wearing
Let me
a.
get in here.
Oh my God, wearing a Cowboys Santa
Yeah,
hat. I love that.
I like it.
Nice work.
Way to go.
Jennifer Bullard a few weeks ago said she might go to this game. Jennifer, if you're
Yeah, did
still
you
with
go?
us, let us know if you went and how it was. I
It
hope you
looked
were
like
there
a
because that was
takeover.
enjoyable.
Looked like a takeover,
Yeah,
didn't
there's
it? It
plenty of
looked like a
Cowboys
good
fans there.
takeover.
Yeah,
Yeah. Way
yeah.
to rep, guys. And
So
I should
Carolina,
have been there. Should have been there.
yeah, looking back on it. Oh, Jennifer Bullard says she was there. Awesome.
Way to
Hey, good for
represent.
you, Jennifer. Way to go. Hopefully you had a good time. You had some good seats, and you saw an awesome game overall by the Dallas Cowboys. So that's awesome. That's awesome. It's been a tough year, but at least you got to see the boys win in person. That's always a plus.
And that was a
Um,
rarity this year.
yeah. Uh, she said she had a free ticket left. So I don't know. I couldn't have made it. Like I said, I was on a plane, but
I
you're
blew
a
it.
Cowboy
I
Red.
blew it.
You
I
blew it.
apologize.
Yeah.
But maybe
Yeah.
I reverse jinxed the team by not being there and they won.
Yeah, if
See,
you were
so
there, they would have lost. They would have lost.
yeah, because I might have lost it when Cooper Rush fumbled that ball inside the 10-yard line and then they scored on the next play. I might have got thrown out at that point, so it's probably best that I
Yeah.
wasn't there because I was losing
Yeah.
it.
She said she tried to tell you. She tried to tell you, King Reg. She tried to tell you. So I didn't.
King Ranch.
That's all on
No,
you, King Ranch.
I'm King Ranch to some people on Twitter. So it's an inside joke with my followers. So you
There you
got to
go.
get on. You got to get on the train. If you don't know what that means, start following me and you'll figure it out.
All right, so let's talk about this Carolina game. Enough about Ranch. This is Dallas Cowboys podcast here, folks. The Cowboys go into Carolina and truly dominate this game. The defense showed up right away. The offense took some time to get this thing going, but they really did a good job. But like you said, Cowboy Red. So coming out, defense played great. Carolina's not able to do anything on offense, and the Cowboys take a 10-0 lead after a CeeDee Lamb touchdown from Cooper Rush and a Brandon Aubrey 52-yard field goal. And then they're driving again. They're in the red zone, potentially going. There was just a couple minutes left, or actually maybe less than a minute left. So they could easily have kicked a chip shot field goal or scored a touchdown there. They were on the 17-yard line. And Cooper Rush fumbles a handoff to Rico Dowell, immediately gives Carolina the ball back, which was extremely frustrated. But you think, hey, that sucks, but there's only 30 seconds
Okay,
left.
let me
Carolina will
stop
just
you. Let me just ask you one quick question. I promise I'm not taking this from you. You said he fumbled on the 17. Is that where the fumble was recovered? Because I seem to remember them being right around the 9-yard line. Was there a penalty there? Because I'm pretty sure I thought they were inside the 10, and then he fumbled. Maybe he fumbled backwards a couple yards. I don't know how that is scored, but
let's
again,
see. Let's see.
I mean, I was
I got it right
watching it
here.
on the live tracker, so
Okay, so yeah, they would have been more like on the 13.
okay, I can
Yeah, so Cooper Rush fumbles to Carolina for -4 yards. Fumble
there it
recovered
is,
by DJ Johnson at the Carolina 17. So yeah, he was in shotgun handing the ball off, which we're going to talk
which
about
made
later.
no
Just
sense. Yeah,
stop putting Cooper Rush in shotgun, please.
and
This
it was an
offense is so
option.
much better under center.
It looked like it might have been an option too. Like he might have pulled it out, or Rico
Uh,
thought he was
no, that would
it
be
looked like
that
a
makes it even
weird
worse.
play call and weird execution. The whole thing was enough to get me thrown out of the stadium. It looked like I said earlier. That was it for me right there. But I recovered well when they started coming back. Go on with the recap.
Jennifer Bullard says the ball was recovered on the 17. That's a boots on the ground report there. But
Yes.
immediately after that fumble, one play, 83-yard pass to Cocker for a touchdown to Carolina. And they're back in this game. So you're looking at going up 17-0 into halftime, and now it's 10-7. Now I'm thinking, man, why did they have to make this a game? Cooper Rush
Yep.
had to make this a game. They
Yep.
get the ball back, go 24 yards, and attempt a 70-yard field goal into the wind outside, real quick. you're the special
Mike.
teams guy. You love Brandon Aubrey. I love him too, but you're all over Brandon Aubrey. You've said on this podcast that he can kick from 70 plus, but into the wind outside, what are we doing there? Was that a smart
On
play?
grass.
Because
On grass.
on grass, he kicked it short, in Carolina had a
Return. Yeah.
return, right? So that's risky. So what were they thinking there?
That's Mike McCarthy. That's what's on his Waffle House menu he's holding there. It's the we're on grass kick from 70 plus. Okay, get in there, Brandon. It's right on the Waffle House menu.
Okay, but is that again, because this is an important topic here because we've talked about the special teams woes. Is that a decision from the special teams coach,
It
Bones,
is.
or is that
It
yeah,
is, but Mike
yeah.
has veto. I mean, Mike has veto power on everything, and he that goes through his headset. He has the opportunity to say no. We're punting. I mean, it's
Sorry,
simple as that.
did you say veto or Cheeto? Sorry, I can't help myself. He's got the Cheeto power.
Veto,
Oh my
veto. He's going to
yeah,
veto.
yeah, you're right. At the end of the
Oh,
day, that should go through
but
McCarthy.
he
So
should be in
everything
a
you blame,
he should be in a Cheetos commercial though. Come to think of it.
God, we got to stop with this, man. That something about that jacket in that game didn't help him out any. But hey, like I don't want to hear from Cowboy Reg because he hates skinny football coaches. So I don't know about that, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was an interesting decision, but kind of sketchy going into halftime with a game that Dallas had truly dominated, in the
Hmm.
first half, but that freak play makes this a close game. But immediately in the second quarter, or I'm sorry, in the second half, Carolina one play, a -5 yards, a fumble by your boy. I'll let you say it.
My boy.
Osa
Oh,
Adigizua.
but you said
Yeah,
fumbled by, not caused by. Yeah, that's Osa
yeah, okay.
Adigizua. I thought you were talking
I
about
know
the
you love saying it.
who's the Carolina back that fumbled it. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember that guy's name, but oh yeah, Osa Adigizua, my favorite name to say. I hope
Yeah, he
that's
really
going to
had a
be in
good game.
my Christmas box this year as a Osa Odigizua jersey, so people can say, "How do you pronounce that name on your back?" And then I could keep saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe I can get that done in the next
Yeah,
week. I
so
haven't
you
gotten
you,
any Christmas
you
present yet.
better you're going to be paying top dollar because you ain't getting one from China for in the next 10 days or 7 days, whatever it is.
Yeah, and ordering it directly from China is a little risky because I don't know if they're going to spell that correctly coming from a sketchy source. So we'll see
Oh,
about that. But yeah,
Digizua, yeah, yeah, they may
that's
not.
tough. You got to order that off Fanatics, man. You got to let the
Yeah,
professionals do that.
yep,
Um,
absolutely.
but anyway, so Dallas gets the ball back and immediately scores a touchdown to go up 17-7. Um, that came from a Cooper Rush pass to Jalen Tolbert for 11 yards. Really pretty good throw there. That
Nice.
was decent. Cooper Rush really, after that
It's good,
fumble,
and
that kind
it's
of fired him up.
good to see Tolbert step up, and we'll get to Jalen Brooks as well, and finally getting some help for CD out there. That was nice.
Yeah. So then from there, man, Dallas really dominated this game. They got the ball back, and the defense was holding its own. They score another touchdown to make it 24-7. Brandon Aubrey kicks the field goal to make it 27-7 with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and this game's pretty much over. Carolina was able to put a little drive together, a 12-play, 70-yard drive with about 9 minutes left and cut it to 27-14. So, yes, there was 9 minutes left. They were only, up by 13 points. But I truly felt the way that the offense was moving the ball, the way the defense was playing, this game was over. And it was the Cowboys kick one more field goal, and they win 30-14. Again, a game they were 2.5-point dogs to. So I thought overall, I mean, look, it's the Carolina Panthers. They were 3-10 coming into this game, but they had been playing some really good ball. They got some wins together. They barely lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. They lose in overtime to the Bucks, and then they lost one more game. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
They drop a touchdown pass against Philly.
For the Eagles, right? Yeah,
Right.
for Philly. So I mean, a game that they were favored in. This was the first football game they've been favored in since 2022. So that just goes to show you there was a lot of momentum behind this Carolina Panthers team, and even Vegas was favoring them in this game. So overall, really good performance. We both predicted the Cowboys to win this game, but we expected a close, ugly game. We didn't expect this kind of offensive performance out of the Cowboys, and the defense had a big role in that. They forced 4 turnovers, and they only allowed 235 yards. But I mean, the offense, 410 total yards, only 1 turnover, that fumble by Cooper Rush, but that really fired him up. Our boy Rico Dowell, which we predicted 25 yards for 100 or 25 carries for 150, he ended up with 25 for 149. So really impressive performance there. CeeDee Lamb had 116 yards and a touchdown, and Cooper Rush ended up going 18 for 29, 214 and 3 touchdowns. So really impressive performance overall by the team. Any other big takeaways, Cowboy Reg, from this game?
Yeah, my big takeaway is looking at the box score, realizing we finished the first quarter 0-0, and we put 30 points up. This is only the second time all year the Cowboys have scored 30 or more points, and the first time was in Cleveland, week 1, on grass, on the road, 30 points. So, yeah, we kind of talked about that last week. The Cowboys could run the ball on this grass. They tend to feel less pressure when they're on the road. Cooper Rush seems to do better on the road. So we predicted this, and, besides that first quarter, it's kind of what we expected. The Cowboys would be able to move the ball by Rico Dowdle. And Mike McCarthy finally got the memo to give that man the ball. And good for him. It's his hometown area. He went to college in Columbia, and he's from that area, North or South Carolina area. So I know that he had a lot of fans there. And Mike gave him the rock a career high 25 times, and it paid off. So good on Mike McCarthy. We don't give him any credit on this show, right? I mean, he's kind of the
Yeah.
butt of our jokes on this show, a big butt that is as well. But give him some credit, because he did do the game plan that we called for, and he kept feeding him and feeding him, feeding him. 25 carries. We don't see backs from the Cowboys getting 25 carries anymore. Pollard wasn't getting that kind of carries. Zeke got that kind of carries maybe the first 2 years he was there, but that was a great
Yeah.
commitment by McCarthy, and it paid off. Good for him.
Yeah, and really this offense thrives when you establish a run, especially with a backup quarterback. But you put Cooper Rush under center, you take him out of shotgun, play action, some bootlegs, really great success with that, off play action in some of those bootleg scenarios. And really, when he's under center, he's a much better quarterback. And that's kind of my next topic here is like, were the Cowboys over overdoing it really on offense, for lack of a better term, or we're seeing with a simpler offensive plan, they're having much more success. Now, there's a lot that goes into that early in the year. The defense is playing really poorly, but the offense really they couldn't get it going at all. And we talked about this a lot on our show where it's like, yes, the defense had some really bad performances, but it's because the offense kept going 3 and out and they couldn't move the ball. So your defense is going to get tired. So do you think that like the Cowboys, what were they doing early on in the year? Like their offensive plan was not good. They're trying to do this running back by committee. It wasn't working out. Like moving forward into next year when you get Dak Prescott back, do you expect the Cowboys to maybe make things simpler? That's obviously going to, depend on who the head coach is. But is this the path moving forward? Go under center more, establish a run, play action pass, just simplify things, man.
Yeah, it's got to be, because Dak's getting old and he's coming off multiple injuries. So you cannot expect him to be mobile. You got to start running the ball. These young offensive linemen that we have, who, the scouting report every week is Dallas is down to their second, third string lineman, and, Hall of Fame Zach Martin is out, and, multiple starters are out. Their number 1 draft pick is out on the line, Tyler Guyton. But what they don't realize is that these guys can run block. These young guys seem to run block really well. It kind of takes away those moves of those edge rushers put on those rookies, and they got their
Right.
swim move and their spin move, and you don't do that when you're stopping the run, right? You're going forward and you're hitting hard and you're pushing a guy out of the gap. So we found a niche with these young linemen, and that's to run the ball. And we've also found out that Rico Dowdle is good, and we called that in the offseason. He got it. It took him way too long, though. It's frustrating. Frustrating it took him that long.
Yeah, I would be curious to see and really who's in control of this offense next season is probably gonna, drive that. But there's sometimes you just don't need to make this thing too complicated, man. And establishing the run does a lot for you, right? It opens up play action. It opens up the offense. The defense doesn't know what to do. Um, it also takes time away. It gives your defense rest. It bleeds clock. So when you're able to put together these long drives, you're taking a lot of clock out. You have a really good kicker. You're able to punch the ball in. You got such a threat in CeeDee Lamb. Um, it's really good, man. And the other thing I was going to say is, shoot, man, if you're not going to sign anybody in the offseason or draft anybody, you might want to start giving Cavante Turpin some more carries in the backfield because he went 2 for 27 in the backfield in this game, and he looked damn good as a
Yeah.
running back. And
Yeah.
these weren't jet sweeps; these were straight up runs
Anytime he's
that
got the
Cavante
ball,
Turpin was given.
we just need to get the ball in his hands. I mean, we said this about CD, after his rookie year. We just need to get the ball in his hands. There's another guy that's a weapon on that team, and that's Turpin. Yeah, he's a weapon on returns. The way the returns set up nowadays, it's like a run. That's why we were talking about in the offseason, will they put a running back there with all these guys in tight blocking situations? Turpin is still the best return man in the league. His statistics prove that. So
Mhm.
why not hand him the ball more? Get the ball in his hands any way you can between him and CD, and then you got Rico that can pound it. What have we been doing all year, man? This team could have
I
won
know.
this year. It's what could have been now. But that's what's frustrating. The real frustration is with Rico is now they're driving his price up. Now they're driving his price up. He can go into free agency and get paid now. He's got what, three weeks in a row over 100 yards. He's the hottest
Yep,
back in the league right now. He
I
doesn't
would
have to
say
carry.
so.
He doesn't have to carry the ball again all year. He's going to get paid, and the Cowboys might have to pay him. But you want to pay him because he's worth it. But why weren't you giving the ball week 1 through 8 when we needed that? They weren't giving him the
Right.
ball, and that's frustrating. Now they're going to have to pay him like they did, like they gave him the ball a year and they didn't. It's a shame. It's just I don't know what happened there. I think it's McCarthy, and I think it's just another reason why he's got one foot out the door, and there's no way they can retain him because decisions like that fall on him. And you can see the proof is in the pudding. It was a really bad decision to give Zeke carries over Rico Dowdle. Statistically bad. We can see it.
Yeah, our boy Josh, it's good to see Micah back. He looks at full strength. He's really coming together, having a great year, even with injuries and a depleted defense. In this game, he had 4 total tackles. 3 of those were solo. He had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 hits on the quarterback. So, really good game out of Micah. He was a threat all day long. He looks great, man. He really does. And, there's some stuff surrounding Micah about potentially trading him. I'm not going to read into that. I think that's all BS. He was asked about it in his post-game conference. Um, I don't see that happening, but they're going to have to make a
There's
decision
some
with
breaking
Micah
news
next
on
season.
that. Right before we went on the air, I caught breaking news on that was Jerry made a statement, and his statement was that has
Right.
never been mentioned, never been spoken. The words have never come out of their mouth that they would trade him. It's not on the table. It's never even been talked about. So we move on from that. That's not even worth discussing. That's people.
Yeah.
It's like a mock draft, man. You know how I feel about mock drafts. It's like a mock draft. It's like, what if they would trade him? And then that turns into, well, the Cowboys are looking to trade him. And it's just bad reporting and bad rumors.
Well, I believe Stephen Jones in a press conference said, they don't plan on it, but nothing's off the table. I believe that's what he said on that subject. So,
Yeah, well,
um,
Jerry put the Jerry. If Jerry is who we think he is, I'm gonna go with what Jerry said, and that's it's not on the table.
yeah, Stephen Jones might get a little talking to by his
Yeah,
dad. So,
Daddy.
um, anyway, moving right along here. The defense played great. They forced 4 turnovers. Really good stuff. Overall, great team performance. The Cowboys are still competing, man. They're still out there playing hard, and they're getting wins. And really, just with a bunch of guys that they're so depleted, so many injuries. Trayvon Diggs did not play in this game. He's out for the season with season-ending surgery. We don't know when he's going to be back. It's a little concerning. But guys just step up and they continue to make plays. One note I had here on Jalen Tolbert's touchdown pass, I want to read the guys that were on the field for that, which is pretty amazing. So you had Cooper Rush, undrafted free agent, Rico Dowell, undrafted free agent, Hunter Luepke, undrafted free agent. You had your rookie offensive lineman, Tyler Guyton. You had a first-round pick in Tyler Smith. Brock Hoffman was an undrafted free agent. TJ Bass, undrafted free agent. Terrence Steele, undrafted free agent. Brevin Spanford, undrafted free agent. Luke Schoonmaker, second rounder. And Tolbert, a third rounder. So when they threw that touchdown at Jalen Tolbert, that's who's on the field. So really impressive by those Cowboys guys, just stepping up and playing.
Those are guys that want to play
really
football,
impressed.
man. Those are guys that want
Yeah,
to play football. It's not about the money.
underdogs.
It's about proving themselves. And this late in the year, that hunger like that is dangerous. And look for the Cowboys maybe to play spoiler at least once in the next 3 games. I'm not going to say they're going to go on a 3-game streak here and beat 3 straight playoff teams, but one of those 3 teams is going to get spoiled. And I think, if it's 2, that would be unbelievable. But I just have a feeling they're going to spoil somebody's playoff seed or division title in the next 3 weeks. And the way they're playing, they could do it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's fun to see the Cowboys still showing up, even when they're still technically alive, but that's very unlikely. Our boy Josh says, who would you rather have, Mike McCarthy or James Franklin?
Ooh.
Still Mike McCarthy. James Franklin is a fraud. I will continue on that routes, moving right along. Jennifer Bullard says
I don't
Diggs
get a
down
vote.
for
I
8
don't get
months.
a vote on that.
Go ahead.
I'm taking neither. I'm taking neither. I would rather there be no head coach than one of those 2 clowns. How about
Yeah,
that?
we're a coaching team. Cowboy Reg coaching team. Come on, man.
I'll coach it.
Take the ball, take the ball under center, run the damn ball.
That's all we
Jennifer
do.
Bullard says Diggs is down for 8 months. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing too. It's going to be a long-term injury. Micah Parsons he either sent out a tweet or he was on his podcast stating that when they get Diggs and Overshown back, that's when they'll be dangerous. Like hinting at they're going to come back at around the same time, which is not that's not good at all. I kind of have a feeling we're not going to see much more Trayvon Diggs in a Cowboys uniform moving forward because
No,
he's
but
injured and he's going to be up for free agency.
you're saying 8 months. That's July, guys. That's late July. That's no games missed. That's training camp. So why would we figure he's down for the next 3 games, basically, is what we're talking about. So I don't think it's that as big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading into some of the reports there and what people are saying. Yeah, you're right about that, 8 months, but
He's in camp.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't think he's going to make that timeline. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. We got a lot of time to talk about that, but I am concerned with Trayvon Diggs moving forward. He just never looked that great this year, whether that was health reasons or
No, I think that
mostly health related.
I think he got rushed back because Bland was out, and I don't think I think he would have been playing, not on the wide receiver 1 if Bland was on the field, and I think he had to push it so hard to be that lockdown corner, and he didn't get time to get his feet under him. So getting injured is never good, but he didn't need to be out there anymore this year. He needs to be working on his body. So it is what it is at this point. He's forced into it, but hopefully he comes back next year like a true 100%. I don't think he was ever there this year.
I don't think so either. So we'll see. There's also reports out of the Cowboys front office that they were not happy with the way he handled his recovery. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but that's what's coming out of the Joneses' mouth. So I don't know what to believe there, but obviously really big Trayvon Diggs fan. I hope we can see him back at 100% next season. I'm just going to be a little bit pessimistic on that. So yeah, the injury side is not looking good again. But overall, the guys are stepping up, like we said, and they're they're getting some wins with a group of guys. A lot of them are undrafted guys that are still trying to make their way in the NFL, and it's always fun to watch. So really impressive win overall by the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what this means for Mike McCarthy in the grand scheme of things. We're still in playoff contention technically, although it's very low percentage. A lot would have to happen for that, and the Cowboys would obviously have to win the rest of their 3 games against winning teams. So the cupcakes are over at this point for the Dallas Cowboys. But um, that moves us into this next week's preview. The Dallas Cowboys will play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home on a Sunday night football game. That kickoff will be at 7:20 on NBC. The Cowboys are currently 4-point underdogs at home with the over-under at 48.5, which means Vegas is predicting something like a 27-23 win from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, first of all, are you surprised this game is still on Sunday Night Football?
Very surprised. Um, hey, we're America's team. Win or lose, people want to watch us play and they want to cheer against them or they want to cheer for them. But yeah, it's a primetime game probably for the reason is the games that they had to choose to flex. It probably only the afternoon games, I assume. I'm not sure how that works. They must not have found another matchup that would have got better ratings. So yeah, this should be a fun game. If it was in Tampa, I'd feel better about it because it'd be on grass, outdoors, on the road, and they win again. The fact that it's
Right.
at home, and I expect Baker to be extremely comfortable in the Texas area for some reason. He's probably going to bake us. So that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I've been to a game at AT&T Stadium with Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. That was back in 2018 Big 12 championship game.
Yeah,
Um, and he baked against my beloved TCU
he
Horned Frog, or
baked
my
it.
wife's beloved TCU Horned Frogs. So that was unfortunate. But I never was a big fan of him at Oklahoma. But kind of coming around to it, we've said it before on the podcast. We do like Baker Mayfield. He's got a chip on his shoulder. A guy that's really grinded out a pretty solid NFL career as of late, and a guy that was very close to being out of the league and fought his way back into it. So good for him. But we won't be cheering for him this week. So Tampa
Mm-mm.
Bay's 8-6 on the year. They started the year pretty well. They went on this 4-game skid there, and since then they've won 4 straight. So very up and down, really weird year. But they currently have the lead in the NFC South. They have plenty to play for. They're still trying to clinch that NFC South. Going up with the Atlanta Falcons that are at 7-7, and Tampa Bay's at 8-6. So they're going to obviously try to win this game. We know that, but they have a lot to play for. They're trying to clinch their division and get in the playoffs. So, um, really, it's hard to read this team. Like I said, they started well. They beat the Detroit Lions, and you're starting to think, man, is Tampa really for real? And then they lose to the Falcons. They beat the Saints. They go on this 4-game losing streak. They had to play some tough teams like the Ravens, Chiefs, 49ers, Falcons, but you could think they at least would beat the Falcons and Niners in that game. But then they rattle off 4 straight wins, especially last week, man. Really impressive win on the road, a 40-17 win over the Los Angeles Chargers, who have been a really
Yeah,
solid team this year. Baker went 22 for 27 for 288, 4 touchdowns. Bucky Irving rushed for 15 carries, 117 yards. Mike Evans went off 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. They just looked completely unbeatable last week. So, what are some of your immediate, thoughts about this matchup with the Tampa Bay Bucks?
we're in trouble. This guy bakes. Um, I'm looking at they beat the Giants, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Raiders, and I'm like, oh, we're good. And then I see
Right.
40-17 on the Chargers, as you just described, and they were in LA doing that. They traveled across the country and just beat them down. Um, and he's going to be in Texas. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder that goes back to college. My initial thoughts, and we're probably going to break it down a little more. Maybe you could change my mind, but my initial thoughts are not good. I think that we're in danger of this not even being a competitive game.
Yeah, it's looking like that. The Cowboys, like I said, it's hard to read this Tampa Bay team, and honestly, you would expect them with how this season is going to revert back to losing a couple more of these games because they've been so up and down. So if you look at that, I mean, either you could say they've finally gotten it together in the last 4 games. They're firing off 4 straight wins. They finally have it together. They're going to, finish this season out strong. Or you can look at their full body of work this season and say they seem to win a couple, lose a couple. They lose 4 in a row, win 4 in a row. Who knows what to expect? They're going to drop some more games this year. There's only 3 more games, but
Let me
let's
chime in. I got one thing to tell you, and this was 100% accurate last week, and we used it in both of our analysis. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5-2 on the road, and the Dallas Cowboys are 1-6 at home.
yeah,
This game is got bad news written all over it for our boys.
yeah, that's very true. And most of that is because they do have a very explosive offense. Let's talk about that real quick. Tampa Bay is currently fourth in the NFL in points per game, 28.8. They are going for 388 yards per game. That's number 3 in the NFL. They have the third best third down conversion rate in the NFL and the sixth best red zone scoring rate in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys defense is allowing 27 points per game. That's 30th in the NFL. 356 yards per game. That's 26th in the NFL. Pretty good conversion rate, third down conversion rate from their opponents, only at 34%, which is third in the NFL. That's their best defensive statistic by far. But they are the league's worst team when it comes to opponents' red zone scoring, and Tampa's in the top 6 in that. So if they get in the red zone, expect Tampa Bay to score. They're a good rushing offense as well as a passing offense. Really, what they do best with their passing offense is they have a very high completion percentage at 70.9%. That's number 2 in the NFL. They're throwing for 244 yards per game. That's fourth in the NFL. They're rushing for 5.2 yards per carry. That's second in the NFL. And they're rushing for 144 yards per game, which is fourth in the NFL. The Cowboys are all, 29th to 30th in those categories. So that's not great. We know the Cowboys have played pretty good as of late, but their offense, this Tampa Bay offense really provides a big threat there. We talked about last week, can the Dallas Cowboys Rico Dowdle rushed for 100 yards in 3 straight games. Can he continue to do that? Well, their rush defense is pretty stout. They're pretty good. I would say, they're 22nd in the NFL when it comes to opponents' yard per rush at 4.5. But they're only allowing 109 rushing yards per game, which is 11th in the NFL. And their opponents are only running 24 times per game on them, which is 6th in the NFL. So that's pretty solid. Passing defense is where they're struggling. Okay, they're allowing 247 yards of passing per game. That's 30th in the NFL. And completion percentage is at 66%. That's 23rd in the NFL. So you can get them passing, but this is not a very good passing off. I mean, it can be, but that's only if you establish the run, which is what this Tampa Bay defense does best. So if you can't run the ball and you can't stop them if your defense, if our defense can't come up and stop them, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, those aren't good matchups for us. I hate to put the ball in Cooper Rush's hands without being able to effectively run the ball. We saw how good he can be when the back is going for 150. And all of a sudden he can throw 3 touchdowns. But when we're rushing 70, 80 yards a game, we saw how bad he could be. So something's got to give in that game. And I just got to have faith that our line likes to run the ball. I mean, it's proven in the stats this last 3 weeks. So we're going to have to run it. I mean, I hope McCarthy isn't looking at the numbers that you just read and saying, well, our game plan is going to be pass first. Because if our game plan's pass first with the backup quarterback, as well as he's done, he's still a backup quarterback. We talked about that last week. We cannot have the game run through Cooper Rush. Can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's tough about it. And I think the Cowboys, like you said, have to run the ball regardless. And I think that will be their plan. There really is no other offensive plan with this team because everything's based off the ability to run the ball. I mean, they've played tougher run defenses this year, but Tampa Bay is still a solid rush defense. And I think really it's up to up to our defense, man. If they could step up and maybe cause some turnovers, Baker definitely can. He could throw some picks, man. That's for sure.
I think he's got 14 picks this year.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to remember the game where he threw a ton of picks in. I want to say it was the Falcons game. No, maybe that was only two. Um, had to be one of those losses. Was it the Chiefs game? No, he didn't throw any picks in that one. I'm remembering a game where he threw a ton of picks. I think it was this Ravens game. Their loss
Probably.
to the Ravens. No, he threw two interceptions. I mean, that's
Still
not a
bad,
ton,
man.
but
That's still
yeah.
not good. That's bad.
No, but I mean, he could definitely turn the ball over when you put some pressure on him. But that also comes with teams that are able to put up a lot of points, and he's kind of forced to step up and really make big plays. So this team wins based off of running the football well. They have great wide receivers. Baker he's very serviceable quarterback, but they really rely on their defense to come up with a lot of good stops. And they're going to put up some points on offense because they have so many weapons. So this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Joseph for Sports says, great win against the frisky good Panthers team. I agree with that.
My
It
man
was a
Jones.
very good win. Hopefully it's
Appreciate you
not our
stopping in.
last. Jennifer Bullard says, hopefully BB comes back. That would be a good addition for the Cowboys offense. I don't know his current status is still questionable right now, but
Yeah.
hopefully he can recover. He
And I
suffered a
think
concussion in that loss against Cincinnati.
questionable is good. Questionable is good news. You don't want doubtful. You obviously don't want out. So I'm feeling good about it. I mean, he went out early in the game too. I mean, not that
Yeah,
3 hours matters, but he didn't take a bunch of hits to his head after that one shot that they believe caused a concussion. He came out early, so he did everything right. And he sat out a game after that, and now he's due to come back, I would assume. If he's not back, that's really a bad sign. That means he's not passing those concussion tests, 2 weeks removed from the actual hit. So I anticipate he'll be back, and we have to slide Hoffman over if Bass is still out. Or, man, Hoffman has looked good though. I almost want to give Hoffman the nod over TJ, but these guys are good. These free agents, these young guys, these are good linemen that want to be out there, and it's a good problem to have.
yeah, for sure. And hopefully they keep playing well and stay healthy. But yeah, it's interesting how many different combinations this Dallas Cowboys offensive line has had, and they for somehow
Yeah,
look better later in the year than they did early in the year. It's really weird. Um, Jennifer Bullard says Bass went out yesterday. Yeah, I'm reading that now. Bass sustained a thigh injury, and he is questionable for this game. So we'll see about that later in the week. To check the injury report to see who's going to play and who's not. But yeah, I mean that'll definitely contribute to the run game. Again, if the offensive line is healthy, if Cooper Beebe can come back, that would be a great addition and gives you some more room to decide between Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass. So plenty of that. Chuma Doga went down in that Carolina game, but he came back and played.
it's good.
So I would think he'll be okay. He's been pretty solid too, and obviously Guyton came in for him, and he didn't have any holding penalties, so that was good. I don't know how many. I don't have the amount of snaps he played in this game, but regardless, it's good to see. So, like I said earlier, Vegas has Tampa Bay winning this game 27-23. I read you the stats. I gave you everything you need to know. Cowboy Reg, who do you like in this game and why?
I'm unfortunately going to have to pick Tampa 27-24. I think the Cowboys just barely cover, but I think Tampa's probably going to kind of, I wouldn't say dominate, but I don't think the game will be in question, and maybe the Cowboys get a score late and try an onside kick, which we've seen before this year where they get competitive late. I don't think they're going to get blown out. This Cowboys team, they play too hard. These young guys play hard,
Yeah.
and they're not going to give up. I think the blowouts were when we had all those veterans out there once they got behind and they took the foot off the gas. These young guys aren't worried about getting injured. They're worried about having a job in 3 weeks. So they're playing hard. I think it'll be a competitive game, but I think the Bucs are just a better team. They're just a better team on paper, and they're coming in on a 4-game win streak, 5-2 on the road. We're terrible at home, 1-6. They're going to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it really does seem that way based off of all the stats. And really, if you have any sense, I mean, you're really picking the the Bucks in this game. That's why I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys, baby. The Dallas Cowboys win this game, and I'm going to tell you why.
I love it.
There's something really weird about this Tampa Bay team, and it seems to be that whenever they start to have expectations, that's when they're falling apart. And then they were almost dead, right? They were 4-6, and people started to write them off. The Falcons are taking the NFC South, and then they rip off 4 wins. Well, here they go again. They got a perfect opportunity to go to 9-6, get a big lead on the Atlanta Falcons, and move on to clinch that division. And I think the Cowboys catch them, man. I think Micah Parsons' pass rush is playing so well. I think they get to Baker. He's susceptible for some interceptions. I think he maybe turns the ball over in this one. He maybe gets a little too juiced up to be back in Texas and play this, big game against the Dallas Cowboys. And my stats aren't going to back me up. There's really no statistics saying the Cowboys should win this game, but I just think this Tampa Bay team is really weird, and I don't trust them to win this game just because I don't think they're going to go on a 5-game win streak. I still think they're the best team overall in the NFC South. Actually, Atlanta really should be, but I don't know what's going on with Kirk Cousins. They just announced that
They're benching him. Yeah.
Penix is going to start that next game. So really weird there. I still think Tampa Bay will win the division because they have the Panthers and then the Saints at the end of the year. But yeah, I think the Cowboys steal a win here, and they continue
Yeah.
to
You know what?
press, and then
I can
Mike
see
McCarthy
that.
will be extended,
No,
and
no,
our
no.
misery continues.
No, I can see it. If Atlanta loses early in the day, I assume they played before, and the Bucks have a 2-game lead going into that game. Maybe they take their foot off the gas, and Dallas sneaks out an upset, and Tampa's still in first place. So, that kind of goes with what you're saying. This team is weird. They would do something like that if Atlanta loses, and they go, "Oh, well, we got a 2-game lead. Baker, relax." And then when Baker relaxes, crazy things happen. So I'm not going to change my pick. I'm still taking Tampa by 3, Cowboys to cover. But I like what you're saying, and there's some real sense to what you're saying. You're not just being a homer. That is not a. We don't look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a real threat in the playoffs, do we? I mean, do we think they get out of
No,
round
just
one?
because
I mean, we
should
don't.
like they yeah, just because they've been so inconsistent on the year. And by the way, I never gave you a score. I'm going Cowboys 38, uh, Tampa 28. So I'm not going to
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
necessarily bet
38.
on
We're
like
going to score the most points we've scored
31,
all year.
31, 31,
Okay.
31, 28, 31,
All right.
28. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
So
Yeah, I'm
take
gonna
the over on this game is
talk
my
you off
best
the
bet.
cliff there, man. You were talking crazy.
Now it's going to probably happen. So, but yeah, no,
38.
that's my reasoning, man. And I appreciate you saying those kind words. I'm not just being a homer. I'm this podcast. I'm the pessimist, and
Yeah,
normally, I'm against the Cowboys here, but I just think that the Cowboys are going to continue to try and win some games, but I think it's more of Tampa. Just taking their foot off the gas, like you said, and they're hot and they're off of a big win and the Chargers, and everyone's going to expect them to go in and beat the Cowboys, and they're going to slip up because that's kind of what they've done this year. Um,
I like it. I'll take it.
just going off of what they've done. I mean, so again, just looking back on it, they start the season 2-0. They get a huge win on the road against Detroit, and then they lose to the Broncos when the Broncos weren't playing good ball. They lose to the Broncos 26-7 at home, right?
Crazy.
Then they get a huge win against the Eagles. Remember, they got the huge
Yeah,
win against the Eagles, 33-16 at home, and they go lose to the Falcons, right? And then they get a huge win over the Saints. They put up 51 point against the Saints. They're like, maybe the Falcons are good. Tampa Bay just had an off week. They just put up 51 on the Saints. They're great. Then they lose 4 straight. So it's like I can't
yeah.
trust them. They're a weird team, and I think after a 4-game win streak, I don't think they're going to finish the season undefeated. I think this is the game that wakes them up because they finished the year against division opponents. This game really doesn't matter to them. Because Atlanta has won both games against the Bucks, and they play the Giants this weekend. So I expect, even with Penix, they're going to win that game. The Falcons are going to beat the Giants, right? I think the Giants are full on tank mode. They're not going to win that game. So I think it's tied. The Cowboys win. They make this a tight race. But why this doesn't matter is because Tampa's got the Panthers and the Saints to finish the season at home. They're going to be tied potentially with the Falcons if they lose this game, but if they can take care of the Panthers and the Saints at home, division rivals, they will win the division. Because the Falcons still have to play the Commanders and the Panthers. I expect them to lose that Commanders game, so I still think Tampa Bay wins this division, even with the loss to Dallas. But let's see here. They could finish 8-7, 10-7, and then Atlanta would be 9-8. Yeah, so I still expect them to win the division, even with losing to Dallas. I just think they kind of overlooked this game and have issues with it. That's
All
my
right.
story. I'm sticking to it.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not changing my pick, but I like it. You're going to be the optimist today. I'm going to let it happen. First time ever.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and let's see how I'm feeling on Sunday. By the time Sunday comes around on Can Fan, I will predict it there too. They will love it because those guys they're always great, man. They picked such a disappointing season and they decided to come out with this banger Christmas album. So good on them. Again, I'm gonna throw that in here real quick. At Cowboys Can Fan, follow them on Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Will be on their show. They do live shows via YouTube, and you can just search on YouTube Cowboys Can Fan to see us there pregame. Really excited about that. So, any final thoughts today, Cowboy Reg, before we sign off?
Go Irish. Notre Dame playing IU Friday night in the first ever 12-team playoff. The very first ever playoff game that will be played will be at Notre Dame Stadium. And hey, bring some luck to the Irish, everybody out there. We got to get the Irish into round 2 against Georgia down in New Orleans. That's the goal. So we'll see what happens.
Heck yeah! What's your prediction for that Irish
I'm going to
IU
be
game?
I want to be cautiously optimistic and take a W however it comes. I don't expect it to be a blowout in any way, shape, or form. I do expect the Irish to put up a lot of points, but Indiana puts up a lot of points. Our defense is tough, but yeah, I'm going to say 31-23 Irish win.
Okay.
I think it'll be somewhat comfortable, but not enough comfortable that it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, Jennifer Bullard signing off. Thanks for joining us again, Jennifer Bullard. Thanks for being a part of this whole episode, and great job going down to Carolina and showing them what's up. So you're
Boots on the
Sons of the
ground.
Star. Good luck charm there. That's awesome. You need to go to more games. Yeah, I like it. I think the Notre Dame it'll be kind of a blowout. I expect them to win 35-14. That's my prediction for
All
that
right.
game.
I hope
I
you're
just
right.
think IU's suspect. Well, real quick, Cowboy Edge, why not? Who you got? Clemson in Texas. Who do you like in that game? College football
Texas.
playoff talk.
Who do I like in it?
I like Clemson. I like Clemson. I think they get the big upset. They
Right
don't
here.
deserve to be there.
Right here.
And, you know,
They're gonna get blown out. Texas is
no,
they look, the worst thing that ever happened to Clemson was Texas losing that SEC title game. They are Purdue to when Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois and they went and beat Purdue 66-7 or whatever it was. That's what is about to happen to Clemson is they got a hungry and pissed off Texas team. It's not going to be good, man. It's going to be bad. And it's going to be in Texas, don't forget. That's not good.
so what? So what?
You'll
Clemson's going to
see.
win that game. They're
You're
going to win
talking
that
that
game.
you're a TCU homer in that case.
No,
That's
look. I'm just saying. Look, Clemson shouldn't be there. They got nothing
no.
to lose, and
That's why they're
Texas
going to get
has
blown
all
out.
the pressure on them. They have absolutely all the pressure on them in the world. They're very, very, very suspect on
No.
offense. They can't seem to figure things out. Clemson's pretty solid. I think they figured some things out offensively. I'm definitely taking Clemson plus 12 points. It's going to be a tight
Dude,
game, even if
yeah.
Texas wins.
I mean,
But
SMU could have won that game. SMU could have won that game.
sure,
You telling me that Texas is not as good as SMU? Like, come on, man. That's it.
I don't
No.
know. Who's Texas beating this year?
I don't know, man. They beat Clemson. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, they want to act blah blah blah, but you haven't played anybody in the SEC. You played Vanderbilt and Kentucky and Florida. So yeah, that was a good win against A&M. But they can't put up points. They cannot put up points. And
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen in that game? If Clemson jumps out to an early lead, their fans are going to be like, this team is fraudulent, right?
Well, they'll want
It's going to be
Arch
like an
Manning.
Ohio State
They're going to be
situation.
calling for Arch Manning if that happens. And who knows? They might put him in. He might light it up.
Yeah, Josh says Penn State versus Notre Dame in the semis. Book it. Hell yeah,
Can't
brother.
wait.
Let's see it. All right, who you
Can't
got?
wait.
Tennessee, Ohio State.
Oh, man. Oh, I think Ohio State pulls that out, and that hurts me to say that. I'll be cheering for you, Tennessee, but I think Ohio State wins that game. Man, I hate to see it, but I'm gonna pick them. Ugly game.
Yeah.
20,
I can't believe this is a 7.5-point spread.
23-20 or something like that. Something 23-20
I
low.
can't believe this is a 7.5-point spread.
No.
I agree. Defensive battle, very ugly, and I do think Ohio State squeaks out a win, just because Tennessee just can't quite do enough on offense with a freshman quarterback. SMU, Penn State.
Penn State, SMU is happy to be there. That's never a good thing. You think it's a good thing? With Clemson and SMU just happy to be there. I don't. I think Penn State will take care of business. Josh will tell you there were some suspect calls in that Big Ten title game. And Penn State's got a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to take it out on poor SMU. Poor SMU.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of SMU football this year. I know they have a threat, a pretty solid dual threat quarterback there. Decent offense, but again, that's ACC ball, which is weird. Josh says suspect. It's rigged. But at the end of the day, I think it's close. I think it's close in the first half because Penn State takes some time to really wear down the SMU defense. They run the ball really well. And that's kind of what Penn State does. And I think SMU may be able to score a few touchdowns in the first half, but their defense comes together, really stops SMU in the second half, and I think they pull away in the second half. But really close. And you know what? I have my feelings about James Franklin, but Penn State's still a really strong team, very physical. It's going to be cold up there in State
College
College,
Station,
Pennsylvania.
baby. College Station. Oh, no.
College Station.
State College.
Yeah.
State College. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Josh.
It's all good.
I had
It's all good.
a great experience up there in Penn State when I was 17 years old that we won't talk about it on air, but I've always had a soft spot for them Nittany Lions after that.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of how Penn State's played all year. 8.5 points is high. I kind of like them winning by 10.
Yeah,
just
they cover.
Slowly grinding them down, pulling away from that game. But I
They
think
cover,
there's going to be
Josh.
some good games this weekend.
See
Really
you in
good
the
games this
semis.
weekend. Hopefully so. Tennessee, Ohio State's really getting the juice for the biggest game. I would agree with that. I think that might be the closest, but telling you right now, watch out for the Clemson Tigers. This would be the most Dabo Swinney thing to ever do. Everyone said keep him out.
There's only one game on that slate. There's only one game that's a state championship, okay? Indiana, Notre Dame for the Indiana State Championship. That's the biggest.
Bowl.
That's the biggest game of the week. They're showing it on Friday, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's it. Prime time. Indiana State title.
All right. We will continue with a little college football talk as we move through these next weeks. Why not? I know most of you out there are also college football fans. So Josh says Dabo something. I don't know what happened with that comment there. It got ate up. You can't say the word Dabo Swinney on Twitter. He's got it banned. Jennifer Bullard says Longhorns, baby. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Watch out for Clemson. Watch out for the Clemson Tigers. I'm telling you right now.
Hook 'em.
It's going to be a Notre Dame Clemson national championship.
No, it's not. He's talking.
No, I'm not. That's not my prediction. I'm just messing with Cowboy Reg. I still really like Oregon in this whole thing. I think they're a strong team.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, folks. We've rambled on long enough. Cowboys, Buccaneers, Sunday Night Football. Cowboy Reg has the Cowboys losing a tight one. I got the Cowboys shocking the world here and continuing to win so Mike McCarthy can come back next year. All right, that is it for Sons of the Star. Catch us. Cowboy Reg will be sending out a tweet with info for the Cowboys Can Fan Show on Sunday. So you guys join us over there. But we will be back next week. We might have to adjust the schedule around Christmas, but we'll figure that out to break down this Cowboys and Buccaneers game. But until then, have a Merry Christmas, everybody. I think we should see you again before then, but if not, have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you out there. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Go Irish.
Go Irish.